What's going on, everybody? David here. Today we're talking cameras, and I want to talk about the Sony A7 III. So a couple of days ago I was able to get my hands on the Sony A7 III. I was at a convention and they happened to release it at the time of the convention, so they did have it there. And I'm really, as far as the body, let's talk about the body first. So the body is almost identical to the A7R III, and I have the A7R III already. So this is a perfect camera to be my backup camera when I'm shooting weddings, because it's pretty much identical. The only difference that I saw was the little locking mechanism that they have on the dial on the top. That's the only thing that I saw that was different. Everything else, it has a joystick. All the buttons are pretty much laid out in the same place. So that is perfect. And I can't tell you, when you're shooting a wedding, I shot with Canon before. So I had the Canon 5D Mark III, and then I had the Canon 7D. Buttons are in different places. So there's situations where when you get under stress, your muscle memory will take over. And if you're using one camera, your muscle memory is telling you one thing, and then you switch to another camera, and now the buttons are in different places. So now you have to kind of look, and it takes a little bit more time. So I'm glad that they made these cameras pretty much identical as far as the button layout. So now I don't even have to think about it. I won't even know if I'm just have the camera in my hand. I won't even know which camera that I have. So that's ideal. That's perfect. So that's one thing that was really something that I was happy about. It has dual card slots. I'm perfect with that. So this is definitely, basically what I'm telling you right now is I will be purchasing this camera as a backup. So let's look at some of the specs. So you have 693 point autofocus system. You have 24 megapixel sensor. You have 10 frames per second shooting. And then you also have 4K video. So those features are amazing. So it pretty much takes from the A9 and the A7R III, it takes a lot of those features and it puts it in this camera. And this camera is $2,000. So it's $1,200 less than the Sony A7R III, and then like $2,500 cheaper than the A9, but it has some of the same features. So that, I mean, what can you say? This is like, they're telling you, hey, our entry-level full-frame camera is going to have some of the same specs that our higher-end cameras have. I can't tell you how amazing that is, and I think it's really going to get a lot of people to start thinking, hey, you know what? I have $2,000, or I can trade in some of my cameras, get that $2,000, and jump into a mirrorless camera. Some of the other things, you have a new back illuminated sensor, and that will allow you better, higher ISO, better quality. So that's good. So low light, if you're shooting video, perfect for that. They've already done some tests with it, and it looks like the higher ISOs work a little better than the A7R III, so that's good. And then you have the A7S III that will be coming out, and when that comes out, who knows what the high ISOs will be able to get you. You have the image stabilization, so you have the 5-axis image stabilization, which is great. So if you're shooting weddings or shooting anything really, you can use a lot of different lenses, and you don't have to worry about the image stabilization. In the past, if you bought a lens that's image stabilized, it costs more than buying a lens that's not image stabilized. So in this situation, everything's going to be image stabilized because it's in camera. So that's really a great feature there. 93% coverage. So your field of view, when you're taking a picture, the sensor this is 93%. So the autofocus points will go all the way out to almost the edge of the screen. So when you're taking pictures, you're going to be able to get pretty much, if you have it on your camera, if you have the subject in your camera, you should be able to get autofocus points on there. So that's amazing. Most cameras will not allow you to have that coverage. Usually you have a smaller area, maybe 60%, 70%, but very rarely do you see 93%. The A9 has 93%. Now the new A7 III has 93%. So that's really good. You have, and I think I talked about the dual card slots, which is, that's one of those things that's a deal breaker. If it doesn't have that, for me, if I'm shooting anything professional, I want to be able to back up my images. So that's great. The actuations that they're talking about here is 200,000 actuations, which is fine. I mean, I've had a camera for 5 years, and usually technology, 5-6 years, you're probably going to want to even less than that, depending on how you are with your cameras. But you're going to want to upgrade the technology. So I've had a camera for 5 years, Actuations didn't even reach 100,000, and I'm shooting weddings on a regular basis. So unless you're shooting like a lot of time-lapse photography, you're probably not going to run into that 200,000 actuations. And then if you're shooting silent shutter, is that considered an actuation? I don't know. So you have to think about that as well. So overall, who do I think this camera's for? Well, initially I was thinking, okay, before I saw all the specs and everything, I didn't really think that the A7 III would be anything worth purchasing. And the main reason is because the A7R III came out, and I'm thinking, this camera is amazing. There's no way that they're going to have anything that's going to be comparable or even make me want to consider purchasing it. Even though I needed a backup, I'm thinking, okay, I need a backup, but I'll probably end up buying the A7R II as opposed to the A7 III. However, this is a great entry-level camera for full frame. So if you're thinking about getting in that market, $2,000, this is perfect. Eye autofocus, all the other specs that I talked about. I mean, this is an amazing camera. You can compare it to any of the other cameras in that range from Canon or from Nikon, and there's just no comparison. So I definitely think if you're thinking about, even if you have another system, you have Canon, and you're thinking about, you know what, I want to jump into the mirrorless. What's all this mirrorless talk about? I want to jump into the mirrorless system. This is the camera to get, and you'll definitely be happy with it. And I think it's the perfect camera for weddings because you're 24 megapixel. That's all you need. I mean, you don't need any more megapixels. Yes, I have 42 megapixels, 43 mega, whatever it is in the Sony A7R III. But I don't need all those megapixels. It's great to have, and because I shoot landscapes as well, I want to have it for the landscapes because I might want to blow that picture up to be, really 40 by 60, just a large print. But for my weddings, I'm generally not going to blow up pictures that are going to be that big. So I don't need it. And this is perfect. 24 megapixels. Wedding photographers have been shooting 24 megapixel cameras for forever now, and they've been fine. So it depends on what you're going to do with the prints. Generally, you're not going to print anything that's going to be that large where you need to have 42 megapixels. So you just don't need it. So this is perfect for that. You have longer battery life with even though you have the same battery as the A9 and the A7R III, you have longer battery life. So that's perfect. So all around, I just think it's an ideal camera for wedding photographers. I think it's great for entry level. If you really want to jump into a full frame, it's perfect for that. And I'm just really happy that they announced it. But more importantly, I want to know what you guys think. So in the comments below, let me know what you guys think about the camera. Are you going to buy it? Is it something that you're gonna pass up for this time? Also, if you have any questions, please post in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.